fucking leave. If I get hit with one more fucking thing, if I see one more fucking thing on this fucking stage, I'm leaving. Don't fuck with me.
One fight, all fight. That's how
That's your motto. One fight, the other one run, get the fuck out the way. Bye, motherfucker.
Dang.
See ya. Sure, you got to learn how to use your sense. Don't be no fool.
No, you don't ever leave your sister, brother.
I wouldn't give a fuck if it was mama.
How y'all doing, bitches? Yeah. Welcome to another brand new episode of the Kris Avalon Show.
Unfiltered.
Yes, Nana, you better work with that old nasty, filthy mouth of yours. Anyway, hey y'all, how you doing? Welcome to a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. It's your boy Kris Avalon with a brand new episode of today, Saturday. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this little microphone over so y'all can hear me clearly. Anyway, wagwan everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode. We got a lot to get to. It's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff going on in entertainment. And yeah, that was a little preview that we gave y'all of Kid Cudi getting pissed over at Rolling Loud, which, you know, I like to call the ghetto-ass Coachella. People acting a fool, throwing shit on stage unnecessarily. So I'm going to break that story down later on in the show. And yeah, we got some tea on a lot of stuff today. So we're going to be talking about, you know, the follow-up of the Ricky Martin story that I did last week. And then we're going to talk about R. Kelly. We got some new Wendy Williams news. I've been saying, yeah, I'm so sick of talking about this woman. But more bullshit keep coming out from her, from, you know, the Wendy Williams peanut got her brothers talking. So we got to start bringing things up and saying things and, you know, all that good stuff. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about my girl Beyonce and her new album, Renaissance Act 1, which comes out next Friday. You know, we got a couple more days for B-Day. And, you know, B-Day is technically September 4th, but you got the album coming out days before your birthday. Oh, wait, no, my birthday is July. I'm thinking August. July 30th, right? Correct? Okay, so that album's coming out next week. We're going to talk about that. My theories based on, you know, we don't know what the album sounds like. We only got a taste of Break My Soul. So I'm going to give my theories based on the list of people that she has on this album. There's a long list of collaborators. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Trashy K and this whole situation with Cardi B. This shit will just not go away. She refuses to pay, and I'm like, child, throw that bitch in jail. Or Cardi be messy and really take her down. We got some news on Monique. We got some news on Will Smith. And we got some news on J-Lo because, you know, the day after this damn show, the woman went to the Justice of the Peace over in Vegas and got married to a long dick Ben Affleck. And we got that and a whole lot more. But in the meantime, hashtag KA Unfiltered at the Kris Avalon. That's my social media handles on the TikTok, on the Instagram, on all the other social media handles. And if you need to, you can just head over to my Instagram and go into my link tree, and all of my little links is there in case y'all don't want to be doing all that. But yes, I just want to say before we get to these topics, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Definitely leave your comments because we're going to look for shit. Still, we're going to talk a little porn during the gay LGBT portion of the show too. So without further ado, let's get into some things. So, wait, hold on, because I had to check. What is my first topic? Okay, so first things first, because we're going to talk about Nope in a second, because I went to go see it yesterday. But we'll get into that in a second. But before we get into that, the first thing I want to talk about is Halloween Ends. So I had heard that the trailer was supposed to come out on Wednesday. So I was excited about that. I was looking forward to the Wednesday leak, well the official drop, because I think Jamie Lee Curtis posted it on her social media handle. And so when I woke up Wednesday morning, you know, a lot of times I get up early in the morning, like I'm up at 5 a.m., you know, showering, do the whole thing, getting ready, breakfast, that sort of thing, getting ready for the day. And what had happened was I woke up and I'm like checking on social media. I'm like, the trailer already dropped. I'm like, on Beyonce's planet do we drop videos you know, before the world wakes up in the morning. So apparently what had happened was somebody went and leaked the video early, hours before it was supposed to come out. And so Universal and Blumhouse had to get ahead of it. They dropped the trailer. It's literally less than 2 minutes. It's like, I think like a minute and a half. They actually showed the trailer at during the Nope. Like if you go see Nope in theaters, you're definitely going to see the Halloween Ends teaser. I liked it. I thought it did a good enough job in regards of giving us just enough so that way we don't really know what's happening, what's going on. I know I saw some people talking about why are they showing the fight between Laurie and Michael. I'm like, first of all, anybody on this planet who has followed the Halloween franchise for 44 years, because that's basically what this, how long this franchise has been alive, so 1978, 44 years, everybody knows that Michael and Laurie, there's going to be a showdown between those two. Whether they both die, whether she dies, whether he dies, we don't know the outcome. But for the most part, it would behoove you not to, I mean, you'd be an idiot not to give us a little taste of their fight in the damn trailer. And I do agree that there might be a possible theory that there's two Michaels in the film, because they're talking about that they may be taking from the original, because I think a lot of people don't know the history of Halloween. The original title for the film was called The Babysitter Murders. And it was supposed to be about that somebody was going around killing babysitters on Halloween night and that sort of thing. That was basically the original concept of the film. And so they changed the name and those other stuff. Like it's just there's a whole historical backstory. I'm not going to go into that right now. But I like the idea that they're kind of going into that direction of like this kid named Corey, who is accused of murder because a little boy ends up dead, or the child he's babysitting dies on that night, and Laurie's basically giving her life. So let me read y'all the concept, so that way y'all get an idea of what the synopsis is. So it basically says that Michael Myers hasn't been seen since the events of Halloween Kills, which, from we all know, took place on one big night. The original Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills was all on one night. Now, you know, ain't enough hours in the day for them to have all three movies take place on one night. So what I'm hearing is the new one takes place in 2022. It does not take place in 2018. Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018 took place in 2018, even though Halloween Kills came out last year, I believe. During Halloween on Peacock. So, and as I continue to read, and it's unclear what exactly brings him out of his slumber. He's a key presence in the trailer, battling with Laurie in a blacked out house, and it's very obvious him given the scars on the left hand and the fact that he's missing two fingers, an injury sustained in the finale of 2018's Halloween. However, while it's clear that Michael Myers will have a part to play, Halloween Ends teaser trailer seemingly hints at another person donning the iconic white Shatner mask. I wonder if it's Ben Tramer. For those of y'all who have seen Halloween, the original one from '78, y'all know who Ben Tramer is. And how he is kind of like a big thing in the original movies, whatever. Where was I? Okay, so Jamie Lee Curtis previously spoke about how she believes Halloween Ends will make people very angry, which would imply some element of controversy to the story or that an established tenet has been changed. There are plenty of ways the film could end up winding people up, but something related to Michael could be one of them. The expectation going into Ends is that Laurie and Michael will go face to face and that one of the pair, assumedly, will prevail. But there's plenty of scope to subvert that expectation. Indeed, the plot synopsis of Halloween Ends seems to infer just that, with Laurie having finally moved on from the fear of Michael and the new evil merging in his steed or stand or whatever. Shout out to Screen Rant for that. I did hear that. Okay, so Laurie is living with her granddaughter Allison, and I think she's working on her memoirs and she's living a quiet life. And then a little incident happens where a bunch of kids end up getting killed, and it kind of brings Laurie back to those feelings that she kind of just put away. That, oh, Michael's gone, we're not going to see him again, we haven't heard from him for years. And I think that is a good thing to kind of deal with. Where it's like this crazy night happened, Michael kills my daughter at the end, and then we don't hear from him in 4 years. So I can exhale, he's not coming back. I'm no longer holding on to that traumatic situation that I dealt with 40 years when we saw it in the 2018 one. And this thing happens, and then she comes back, and you know, she gets all of the Hamilton and all that sort of stuff. And so I think it's a great thing I'm looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to when it comes out. I think it comes October 15th. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it when it comes out. So Shout out to Halloween. I just hope it's a little bit. Hope it's better than Halloween Kills, because I didn't think it was as bad as everybody was saying, but I was kind of disappointed in a couple of situations where there were a lot of people making dumb decisions, which ended up with them getting killed, and justifiably so, because when, I always say play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So when you do things of that nature, it's known to happen. So now let's move on to Nope. And my opinions on the film, I'd say yes. That's the gay version. That's the sequel. That's gonna be the sequel with gay people in it. It's gonna be called Yeah. Okay. But anyway, I went into Nope trying to be like, I went in with a whole unknowing of what was gonna happen. See, a lot of times what I like to do is when I see movies, I want to be surprised. I don't want to know what it's about. I didn't even read synopsises of it. I just, every time when I would go to the theater, they would show the trailer. I had no idea what. So I like to go into movies flying blind. And so when I saw this movie, I have to say, cinematically, it was a beautiful film. I have to give it up to Jordan Peele. Is like someone who I feel like is on the come up to being one of the most influential filmmakers of this generation. I loved Get Out. Didn't necessarily like Us. I felt like Us was a little too convoluted. I felt like there was at times where it got a little too over-ambitious for its own good. So I didn't particularly care for that. I might drop a couple of spoilers on the film. So if you haven't seen it, you would like to go in not having any spoilers, you can mute and then, come back when we change the picture, go on to the next topic. But from the film, I got like Close Encounter vibes. I basically called this film the Jaws of 2022. Like, it was basically Jaws in the sky, if you kind of know what I mean. Okay, so to give you an idea of what the film was about. So basically, Daniel Kaluuya plays a guy named OJ, who is basically struggling to keep his family, the horse ranch afloat. So his father, which you see in the beginning, played by the iconic Keith David. Like, Keith David's been in a lot of iconic movies, been in a lot of John Carpenter films. So I see like that's where the influence of John Carpenter came from. He had Keith David in the film, who was in They Live, hence the shirt reference that I'm wearing today. And also he was in The Thing, John Carpenter's Thing. He was in that. So, and he's been in a million other movies. So basically, he's trying to keep the horse ranch afloat. They rent their horses and stuff out to movie sets. So they're kind of like a lot of people who are ranchers who go work on movie sets and they tame and train the horses so that you could use live horses on movie sets. So it was good to see like we had a Black-owned horse ranch working on these movie sets, and it showed like in the beginning how people treat crew members like shit. So I have to say, with this film, I love Jordan Peele for the fact that he showed respect to a lot of the crew in what he put into the film. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. Keke Palmer coming in as his sister Emerald, I have to say, she stole the show. She was basically giving you animation. She was sassy. She was funny. She was giving you that, what you expect from a funny character or whatever in the film. So basically, they go to the ranch and they go on the set. They're doing this whole thing of trying to get the horse to work. So what it was that they were doing certain things on set that spooked the horse. And some of the people, like that bitch, whatever her name was, I think she was a real life actress, but Bonnie Blakely, I think she was a real life actor, whatever, from back in the day. She goes and your name is OJ. I was like, oh no, man. Like, I was like, oh, this bitch just spit somebody. So I was getting all of my feelings about certain things, but I realized that, some people, actors, might be a little cruel to the crew and kind of treat them less than. Because I remember I was watching one of my friends' shows, and they was talking about Leah Michelle, and basically saying how Willem from RuPaul's Drag Race was actually supposed to be on the show or whatever. I think it was her and another queen from Drag Race, and she didn't recognize, I guess, who she was, and told one of the security, get that extra off the couch, because she was sitting on the couch with her, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's actors out there who are just nasty. So just throw that in there. We definitely need to keep an eye on Leah, because this bitch ain't on her lesson. fire hoe of Broadway. But anyway, so back to the film. So what I liked about the movie was the fact that we got to see a little bit of that. And so there were points in the movie where I felt like, okay, so it starts to take a little too long for the story to get going, because I realized that Jordan's trying to lay down the foundation of the film and this, that, and the other. And I like the fact that Daniel Kaluuya's character, OJ, was kind of this sort of quiet, laid-back type of guy, and then the sister was the total opposite. So basically how OJ's been sort of making ends meet is he went to this theme park owner who was a former child star by the name of Ricky Jupiter Park, played by The Walking Dead Stephen Yeun. He basically, sells some of the horses to him, and with the idea of trying to get the horses back. But then, as we watch the film, we realize he ain't getting them horses back, and there's a reason as to why he's not gonna get them horses back, because it has to do a lot with this alien situation that's going on. Excuse me. So they start noticing weird things going on and seeing things happening in the sky and all this other craziness. So they go and they to this place called Fry's, I think. It's a place where you can buy like camera equipment and things of that and the other, so you can capture things on film. So then this employee that works there, his name is Angel, played by Brandon Perea. I have never seen this boy before. I'm like, who is this sexy, pretty ass specimen? He was good looking. I was like, ooh, how you doing? Kind of find he's a Filipino actor or whatever. But anyway, so Angel comes in and he basically sets everything up and kind of helps them out, whatever it is that they need. And then it starts to go things start to just go crazy from there. Now, visually, I have to say the film is stunning. I was kind of disappointed by how the alien looked, because I'm like, is it a flying saucer? Is it a giant hack? Is it a jellyfish? Or maybe it's just a creature that just morphs into whatever you want it to morph itself into. So what we kind of find out is that it's not necessarily a spaceship filled with alien species. Basically, what you're looking at is the alien itself that's hiding in the sky, and that when you look at it, and this is what OJ discovers, if you look at it, it basically consumes you. And I know a lot of people got confused as to what was going on in regards of why we kept seeing them flashing back to this 90s sitcom called, it was basically starring around this chimp named Gordy, because this film opens up with it. This chimp named Gordy, who basically the plot of the show is the family takes in this chimp by the name of Gordy, and they basically try to raise it as a family, a member of the family, that sort of thing. So Stephen Young's character was on it. I think so there was like this whole adoption thing. You had the Asian child, you had the little white daughter, and then you had the chimp that they were trying to raise. So something happens on set, the chimp goes ape shit and basically kills two of the cast members and injures another, while Jupiter, the young kid, while Stephen Young, as the younger version of him, hides under a table. So, Ricky, as I should say, we're trying to remember these damn names. So it's funny how so I think a lot of people was kind of thrown, like, it doesn't make sense, but I was like, I understand why he put the things in there. However, I feel like Jordan Peele could have pulled back a little bit from that sort of thing. So do I think that people, I don't want to, give too much away into what happens with people, whether certain people live or certain people die, and how they figure out how to take down the creature and all this other stuff. It's definitely a recommend. I do recommend that people see this film. I feel like at times Jordan Peele was trying to hold back, but then would get too ambitious in certain parts where he didn't need to, and held back on parts where he should have pushed a little more. But overall, I feel like it's a solid film with a lot of good acting. I love the fact that he had Michael Wincott in this film. You may not know Michael Wincott's name, but when you hear that voice, you know who Michael Wincott is. Like, he was in a lot of movies. One of my favorite films in The Crow as the villain. To witness Brandon Lee's death and having to deal with that shit, like, that would be traumatizing for me. But yeah, so overall, definitely check out the film. And yeah, it's like, I don't want to spoil too much, but definitely it's a recommend. I'd say go to the movies and see it. It's definitely something you want to see on IMAX. It's visually beautiful as scope. Just hearing the different sounds that's coming from the alien and the screaming and how it relieves itself and keys and and wheelchairs and things falling out of the sky, and child, if you ain't ducking, your ass fucked up. So yeah, it's like, and how, you know, it's so much I want to say about this film, but I just feel like I just don't want to spoil it for you guys. So if you get a chance, definitely go out and see this movie because it's worth every penny. So run them, walk them, go see it. Okay. So let's talk about. So Ricky Martin, as you may have heard, has been vindicated. Yes, the nephew dropped the charge. Now, the singer shortly after broke his silence. I did post the story on my Kris Avalon website, krisavalon.com. If y'all get a chance after the show, definitely check that out. Also, I should point out, you know, there's a lot of stuff on Kris Avalon that y'all should check out because, you know, today I've been busy. Like, I got up early because a lot of trailers and stuff have dropped. So, you know, they had the John Wick trailer, the Black Adam trailer, Shazam, they dropped the trailer. I got news on The Walking Dead where, you know, Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero, they're reuniting to do a limited series to wrap up their story. Sarah Michelle Gellar is joining the spin-off show for Teen Wolf called Wolfpack. That's all on there. And this story. So he broke his silence hours after the nephew withdrew allegations of incest and harassment against him on Thursday. Now, I talked about this in my last show, and I told y'all why I didn't believe the story, but I'm going to, you know, give my good thoughts. Now, the Living La Vida Loca singer, 50, explained in a new video message obtained by Page 6 why he had not addressed the allegations himself when they first came out earlier this month, despite his team vehemently denying the false and fabricated claims at the time. Now, for 2 weeks, he says, I was not allowed to defend myself because I was following procedure, excuse me, where the law obligated me not to talk until I was in front of the judge. Earlier on Thursday, the She Bang singer was prepared to testify during a hearing for the protection order filed against him, but his 21-year-old nephew, Dennis Yadiel Sanchez, ended up withdrawing his allegations. Now, Martin's attorney told Page 6 the accuser confirmed to the court that his decision to dismiss the matter was his alone without any outside influence or pressure, and the accuser confirmed he was satisfied with his legal representation in the matter. Now, Sanchez was the son of Martin's half-sister, Vanessa Martin, previously alleged that he and the pop superstar was in a 7-month relationship and stalked him at his house after they broke up 2 months ago. Now, in the video message, Ricky expressed relief over the case's dismissal, but noted how it impacted his and his loved ones' lives over the past few weeks, saying, thank God these claims were proven to be false, but I'm going to tell you the truth. It has been so painful and devastating for me, for my family, and for my friends. I don't wish this upon anybody. He also called Sanchez's claims nonsense and appeared to harbor no ill will towards his relative, who he and his team and half-brother Eric Martin have publicly claimed suffers from mental health issues. And that's what I wanted to get to. Oh, it's funny how I'm sitting here reading the whole thing and I was so busy.
To tell you the truth, it has been so painful. It has been devastating for me, for my family, for my friends. I don't wish this upon anybody. To the person that was claiming this nonsense, I wish him the best. And I wish he finds the help so he can start a new life filled with love and truth and joy, and he doesn't hurt anybody else. Now, my priority is to heal. And how do I heal? With music. I cannot wait to be back on stage. I cannot wait to be back in front of the cameras and entertain, which is what I do best.
So shout out to Ricky. I was sitting there reading the thing the whole time, and then it happened, so we played it anyway. So nevertheless, I'm glad that he's been, you know, that this is no longer a part of something he has to deal with. Unfortunately, you know, there are going to be people who believe otherwise, and I feel like for me, personally, I'm of two minds of the situation. On one hand, like I stated, I didn't believe it because I felt like it was a lot of holes. Stuff didn't make sense, and I did hear that it is public record. Yes, he is. Yeah, Ricky is 50 years old, child. Will be 51 in December. I think New Year's Eve is when his birthday. I think either Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. But one of the things I will say about Ricky is like, you know what? I'm of two minds of this. On one hand, you know, there's this cliche that goes around that gay men are automatically perceived as pedophiles, which we all know is bullshit. 9 times out of 10, most the child molesters that we hear of happen to be heterosexual males, and it's not about sex, it's about power. It's about hurt people hurting people. We're about to get to a damn pedophile in a second. You know, R. Kelly. So we're gonna talk about her in a second right after we do this story. But excuse me. But with Ricky, I'm like I said, I'm up to minds of this. So I was like, I'm here for him. I didn't believe it because I'm like, out of almost 40 years of being a musician and an artist, and he's always had such a clean-cut career. I don't even think that motherfucker got a parking ticket. So if we ain't never heard nothing in 40 years, why all of a sudden it's coming out now? And I know that's always the excuse, but why is it now saying, well, we haven't heard nothing in so long. Why are people coming out now and saying stuff? But it's like, we haven't heard anything from him. We've heard things from other people. We've heard stuff about Harvey Weinstein over the years. Hollywood people swept it up because they were making so much money from that man. Y'all, there was evidence out there about R. Kelly for years. People looked the other way because it wasn't affecting them. We saw the P-tape. Y'all still want to call people liars and this, that, and the third. The evidence was there. So we have no evidence, and I would hear people, and it's fucked up because it would be from our very own community. First thing out their mouth, oh, they paid him off. Money talks and BS walks. I've heard it. I've seen it in my comments on social media. And I give you all the side eye, but you know what? I save that energy for the show. I'm not gonna, you know, post and do all that stuff on social media because they love to try to find a reason to send me to jail over some bullshit. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna save it here. So I don't think it has anything to do with money. If anything, he could have been paying that boy off for years and had him shut up. But from what I heard, the very things that he was accused of Ricky of was accusations brought against the nephew from a coworker that he was working with, somebody he was working with, stated that sexual harassment, stalking, that's what the very thing. So now he's putting that off on his uncle. Because I guess, you know, at times, Ricky is a big name celebrity. So I can gain attention from that. I always say we need to look at things on a case-by-case basis. Yes, if anybody makes an accusation about sexual abuse or that sort of thing, and then on top of that, why would Ricky want to risk? But then again, why would anybody do anything stupid? Why would you risk 7 months hunching your nephew when you got a whole husband and 4 kids to raise? When do you have the time? Because Ricky's been relatively busy as that. I know he's supposed to be shooting the show for Amazon, and I know he released an EP last week, I believe, called Play. So I just called BS on it. But on the other hand, so on the second mind that I have, like I said, when I brought up the thing last week when we were talking about the Menudo docuseries that's on HBO Max. That was my fault. I didn't even tell y'all what streaming service to watch it at last week. But y'all have it. HBO Max, if y'all want to check it out, it's 4 parts. Many of the people from the show, including, there were so many members, because it was like over 30 members in that group, came forward and revealed that they were sexually abused not only by the guy who was the head of Menudo, the founder, but the friends that he had. That he was hanging around a lot of pedophiles, and when you're in that situation, give me your children. I will make them famous. I will make you all this money. I will groom them. They're basically grooming your kids and passing them around. This happens a lot in Hollywood, where parents can be so trusting because they see it as a way of getting out of the ghetto, whatever the case, or whatever issues that they're having in their personal life, not realizing that these people are preying on their kids. Whether or not this happened to Ricky as a kid, we don't know, because Ricky did not speak on this docuseries. We do know that he is working on a reality series with a competition series with Mario Lopez to revive Menudo. So hopefully he's going to work out the kinks with that, because after this docu-series, people are going to be looking at Menudo with a side eye now, if they haven't already. And then plus the reputation of that. So I don't know if anything happened to Ricky. I don't know if he was sexually abused as a kid. But, and I will also point this out, not all people who are sexually abused abuse other people. I had a friend of mine reiterate that. Ray Diesel, adult film star. He did reiterate that. He was like, when I was talking about this, well, he was responding to the article on it, and basically was saying like, yeah, he was abused as a child, and he never went out and did that to anybody. So I just want to make sure that we should know that just because you were sexually abused does not mean that you will abuse other people. But we've heard, based on R. Kelly's story that I'm about to literally slide up into, that he said that he was sexually abused as a child by his sister and started abusing other people. Didn't he say that? Well, apparently, he decided to change his tune and is blaming his ex-wife, Drea Kelly, who refused to change her damn until she earned that last name. You want to be attached to that motherfucker? And that nastiness of that man? It ain't fit. I will go back to my maiden name. Especially if you ain't paying me no child support. What the fuck I need to be a Kelly for? So apparently, according to reports, he's now blaming his ex-wife for his sexual behaviors and his ongoing estrangement from his 3 children. Oh, to wrap that other story up, shout out to Ricky Barton. I'm glad you're free. Hopefully now people won't be looking at him sideways, you know, for the rest of his life, even though he's been found innocent. Because you know how people are. They still will not believe that the court is the court and that not everybody is guilty of diddling with somebody's child. So Radar Online has obtained a psychiatric evaluation report submitted by the court by R. Kelly's lawyer. Now, as previously reported, shout out to the Jasmine brand for this story, by the way. A doctor sat down with the singer for multiple sessions where they discussed a wide range of topics such as his childhood abuse, sexual preferences, and his past relationships. R. Kelly, who's 55, and his legal team hoped that the report would sway the judge in giving him a lesser sentence. However, that man is not getting out of prison. However, it did little to convince the judge, and the I'm a Flirt singer was ultimately sentenced to 30 years in prison after he was found guilty for sex trafficking and racketeering. You know they're gonna get your ass on that. They delaying your ass, except you got 10 more years than her. According to reports, a psychiatric evaluation revealed that R. Kelly seemingly blames his ex-wife, Drea, 48, for his deviant sexual behavior and for being estranged from his 3 adult children, Joanne, 24, what are you doing? 22, and Robert Kelly Jr., who's 20. Now, in a report, the disgraced singer claimed his wife's dream to be a dancer interfered with their marriage. R. Kelly says that he met Drea when she was hired as his choreographer. He told the doctor that they dated for a bit before he cut off all other women. R. Kelly says the marriage ended because Drea wanted to pursue her career in dancing, which was something they had discussed prior to the marriage. Kelly also claims that Drea had agreed to be a housewife and raise the children prior to the marriage. But here's the gag. So she may have agreed to all these things, but what the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China? What does that have to do with the fact that you was out here fucking other young girls, trying to marry an underage one, R.I.P. Aaliyah, peed on Sparkle's niece. You basically had a harem of women that you was abusing and making them eat their own food. What the hell does that have to do with the fact that you are a terror to a lot of these young women, and because they worshipped your ass, they did anything for you? And you got this other fool who thinks that she got a rat chance in hell of marrying you because she's gonna be the number one. Yeah, you're gonna be the only one. Because what other one is willing to wait for that fool to get out of prison? He'll be 80-something years old. You done wasted your good damn years waiting for that man. So what does that have to do with anything? My thing is, and this is why I have a problem with people like R. Kelly, these sociopaths who refuse to take responsibility for their own stuff. You were the one who decided to go out here and instead of getting the help that you needed, abuse people, abuse your power to abuse people, young women, allegedly some young boys, while your team of people who was profiting off of you looked the other way. That was another thing that they addressed in Note 2 that I actually liked, was the fact of how we profit off of traumatic experiences and pain, because they had the scene where Ricky Jupiter had a whole room of his memorabilia from the show that people would pay top dollar. He said people paid $50,000 just to spend the night in the room, because he was giving me like Kiwi Kwan vibe. Remember Data from and Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and he was also in Data in the Goonies, and his career kind of dried up. But, you know, and he didn't get no role until recently when he was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's what it kind of gives me. It's sort of like you use your fame to, you know, some people use it for good, some people use it for abuse, and you abuse your power and your ability as one of the most prominent songwriters and producers and artists in R&B music. R. Kelly was unstoppable as a musician, and amazingly, he is talented, even though he claims he's illiterate. But those excuses have nothing to do with you need to take responsibility for your own actions, and you're not doing that. You need to take responsibility for the traumatic implications that you caused on so many people over the years. You out here sex trafficking children, and the abuse and there's people who still refuse to believe that R. Kelly is guilty. Linnea says those excuses are routine of how defense attorneys grab anything to try to get getting their obviously guilty clients off. Of course, that's what they would. I would grab that, and I read that. I'm like, God, you never ratchet hell of winning this case or getting him out of prison. The man is guilty. He is going down. He ain't getting out of jail. He just better accept his fate and move on. And Drea, don't pay no attention to this fool. But this man is a joke. Throw his ass under the fucking jail. I can't stand R. Kelly. I don't understand how people sit up in here and just supported that man over there. Like, I remember when I would go to barbecues, I would get so mad when they would play his Step in the Name of Love or any of the music they would play at barbecues. You know, being black, it is a lot of, you know, a lot of music, a lot of R. Kelly music get played at barbecues. And yes, he got some good backyard barbecue music. But I can't understand I cannot fathom how people are so smart. And I heard Neo hypocritical ass talking about after he talked so much shit about R. Kelly back then. So, oh yeah, I still listen to his music, but is anybody listening to yours? That's the question. I don't know why his non-singing ass is still putting out music. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Wendy Williams. So apparently I saw this story this week and I had to bring it here because I was like, apparently there may be a family feud between Wendy Williams and her damn son. Speaking of the son, that's also the source of this story. So shout out to the son for this thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but it kind of might be true because her brother started talking about it on his YouTube channel, Tommy. So Wendy Williams' brother, Tommy, took to his YouTube live to trash the famous talk show host and his famous sister after he implied that her son Kevin Jr., who's 21, came up from Florida to see his mother at her New York City apartment for her birthday. Now, I didn't know it was worth $4.5 million. That penthouse, that's a lot of coin. Now, for somebody who got their shit tied up in Wells Fargo, how are you paying them bills? Bills. Speaking of Beyonce. Now, when the son reached out to Tommy regarding his allegations against Wendy, he said he is now involved with her eventual podcast project and that he no longer wanted to discuss his scathing diatribe, which he publicly posted, though he did not retract his statements either. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to take back stuff that he said in regards of his sister, but he didn't backtrack, but it's still out there. I'm confused. But now you're working on her podcast, which I do not believe exists. I do not believe there's a podcast. I don't think there's a $100 million deal on the table. I do not think iHeartRadio. I don't think General Radio. I don't think old school radio. is giving her any orders. I don't think Spotify is knocking down her door. I don't think iTunes is knocking down her door. I don't think Apple is knocking down her door. I don't think she's got anything going on. I think it's a bunch of people grasping at straws and trying to get paid. I don't even think Wendy Williams is even aware that she's supposed to be doing a podcast. Quiet as a scared. So, 55-year-old teacher said on YouTube live from his Florida home this past Sunday. He says, it should be a great time for family, a great time for her son, but it's not. It's a great time for everybody inside of Wendy's head. And I don't know who those people are. It could just be a cloud of people inside of her head that aren't people if you could figure that out. Her son is up there to spend what could be monumental time with his mother. That is, if she opens the door. Tommy said of Kevin Jr., who was presumably outside of Wendy's apartment and not being allowed inside. Now, Tommy, who spent over 15 minutes lashing out at his sister, added, my nephew is trying to get in there somehow to see his mother. He was with me yesterday. We talked about the trip. We smiled and laughed. Now, first thing this morning, right flight taken out, going up there, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So he said a whole bunch of stuff. He also said she is not a celebrity. She is not the family celebrity. She is a member, and she has her son out there like he's the paparazzi. Trash. That's what she is for doing that. She's trash. While also saying Wendy is mean, she's abrupt, and she's heartless. Now, responding to the son, Wendy's manager, because I don't know how you go from managing jewelry to managing a whole celebrity. But worse people have it. Look, Wendy picked Kelvin out of the damn projects and made him her manager. And I have to say, you know what, no shade, but regardless of how you feel about Kelvin, he did a good job handling Wendy and all of her shenanigans and keeping her in check. Because now I'm starting to think that Kevin was the one who was busy, putting the sheen over Wendy, when Wendy was out here being a hot, coked out, drunken mess that we was living for. So a lot of us was throwing shade at Kevin, and yeah, he still ain't ish. But for the most part, I feel like in regards to the business, he kept the vultures at bay from trying to take advantage of her, and he kept her busy, which he needed to be, because otherwise I guess she would relapse on them drugs and things, because she looked the other way and let Kelvin out here banging Sharina for all them damn years, for decades, as we looked into the timeline and saw how they was getting down until he brought her oops baby, and that's when that was the ultimate tipping point. But at the end of the day, we all grown and we all make our own decisions, and at some point Wendy has to be held accountable for her own mess. Now, here's what Will Selby said. He said, Wendy's privately enjoying her birthday with her friends and family, including a surprise visit from her son. The celebrations included him. The son also reached out to Wendy's son, Kevin, for a comment. Now, the younger brother took issue with interviews Wendy has given recently, specifically a not suitable for work one, which she repeatedly said she wanted to get after. Yeah, we played that. We talked about that last week. He said she talks about how much she wants to bang, how much she wants somebody to bang her out. She got a son. She got a 91-year-old father. She got a mother looking down on her from the heavens. Tommy continued, she has a host of fans who look at her as she selfishly says how she feels about her direction in life and blah, blah. It's a whole lot of stuff. And I feel like, you know what? I don't trust the people that's around her, but, podcast. Wendy's a hot-ass mess. I've been rooting for her for a long time. I want her to get herself together. I want her to get healthy. I want her to get her mind right. I want her to get all these things together. But if she's not willing to do the work, if she's not willing to do what needs to be done, if she's not willing to not look a hot-ass mess on TV, then you know what? When she get out there and she look a whole fool, we'll see. Sometimes people got to learn on their own. And I don't know where on God's green earth, on Beyonce's planet, I like saying that, does she think that doing a podcast is going to make her wealthier than doing TV. But that's not necessarily true. Some of the biggest names that been given podcasts, and they flopped. It has nothing to do with you trying to just use your name as a way of profiting via a podcast. Personally speaking, I like podcasts of people who are just authentically themselves. And if you're not gonna give me authenticity, then I ain't watching it. So I'm hoping that everything is working out well. I don't want this to be a situation where Wendy's going to end up in a conservatorship. Should the story be true, I would say, like, is it? I mean, I don't think we can say should this story be true if you have a family member that's coming out making these accusations. But then again, you do have family members who will come out and say all kinds of crazy stuff and make accusations that may or may not be true. But Tommy always has this habit of going back and forth when it comes to his sister. One minute he loves her, the next minute he throws so much shade at her and starts saying all this stuff. Sometimes I don't know what to believe. I be feeling like, am I getting, Thor, Love, and Thunder, where I'm getting 2 damn movies? I'm getting the comedy side, and I'm getting the serious side, and neither one is working. Like, I need to know, like, what's the real deal? I know everybody is not a monolith, but sometimes I don't know what to believe. But if Tommy out here spilling tea, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to give our opinion. So I'll be keeping an eye on this as it develops, because it seems like every damn week something coming out from Wendy. And I'll keep my eye on this story and see what develops with that. Now, here's another story that it's not celebrity based, but it was something that just pissed me off when I first heard it. Now, how I first came aboard on this whole topic about Sesame Place. But I think I was scrolling through the thing, and I saw the video, or somebody sent me to me, or somebody showed it to me. I don't remember, but anyway, nevertheless, I watched the video and I was pissed when I saw this. But then again, I was not surprised. First, my initial thought was, Sesame Place is still around. Like, I remember when my younger brother was around, he went to Sesame Place as a kid and loved it. But the time was different, and they wasn't out here discriminating like these people are now. Hey, Kelly Rowland. Oh my God, I don't think I have that one with Kelly Rowland. So, but I know that Kelly Rowland was upset about what had happened. So, in case y'all didn't see it, now there was a viral video that showed 2 children being ignored by a character at Sesame's Place, and that whole thing went viral. And this was, and I forgot that it's in Pennsylvania. Now, one person in particular, an Instagram user with the profile handle champagne_to_, recently shared a video of his child's experience. Now, in the post, an employee dressed as Telly Monster so, did you see how like you was giving me that? That was probably a whole fag in that damn outfit. Child, I gotta watch it. I don't want to be like, I want y'all to try to cancel me like Dave Chappelle. We're gonna talk about him too. Okay, so they said okay, so in the post, because more videos since that one has come out. So in the post, an employee dressed as Telly Monster appeared to walk over to his daughter only to give his or her attention to another kid nearby. Now, said user further explained in an attached message saying, "My 5-year-old daughter experienced the same type of treatment at the same park. After being ignored by several characters, I finally did the noble dad thing and got one's attention and pointed at my daughter. The character walked towards my daughter, who was expecting a high five, just for him to turn and blow her off once he's seen an Asian kid with his hand out and gave him the high five instead, then brushes my daughter's hand off. I dismissed his behavior until I seen at Jody _ video of a similar situation with her daughter." That's the video we just showed. Now, on July 18th, Sesame Place took to social media with their second official response to the controversy. In addition to another apology, the entity has pledged to double down on improving customer service and training amongst its staff. Now, saying, "We are taking actions to do better. We are committed to making this right. We will conduct training for our employees so they better understand, recognize, and deliver an inclusive, equitable, and entertaining experience to our guests. We're committed to doing a better job, making children and families feel special, seen and included when they come to our parks." Child, first of all, y'all gonna suck my entire ass with that post. Number one, that is your job from the beginning. Whenever you do any kind of onboarding for a job, that's basically what they train you on, that you should not be out here discriminating against anybody based on race, sexual orientation, ethnicity, whatever you have it, whatever it says in the the fine lines of your contract when you're applying for any job, when you get accepted at a job. So I have to teach you to be nice to kids when that's your whole goddamn job, that you're dressed up as a stuffed fucking animal. Your whole job is to be nice to children. Why else would you be working there? Oh, don't come near me, Negro, little black child. That's what you was giving me. So, miss me with the bullshit. To me, it just seems that this is an ongoing thing of let's discriminate against, people of color. Because white is better. Because we had the whole situation we talked about last week with the Q and that drama. If y'all want to hear that whole story, you can watch the previous video. But what I've forgotten to mention was that Alan Pikus was upset because they weren't letting underage white boys into his establishment, and that the security was preventing drug dealers from selling the date rape drug GHB on the premises. A mess. And y'all keep out here thinking white is right, because that's what society teaches you. But okay, let's see them white people keep your business afloat, because they won't. Y'all cannot be out here discriminating against people, especially in New York. So Kelly Rowland expressed her outrage. I'm with you, girl. Like, I'm with you on the whole outrage situation. This is a whole ridiculous, messy situation, and it's unfortunate that in this day and age, in 2022, we're still dealing with this kind of buffoonery. So shout out to them. We'll keep a close eye on Sesame Place and see if they change their attitudes and are less discriminative when it comes towards children, particularly children of color. Because they said they went and were nice to the Asian kid and high-fived the Asian kid, but they kind of looked off at the black kid. So clearly it's a black child problem. And what's the first animal, Kelly? I don't know. I don't know these fucking Muppets or whatever. I don't know who they are. Shout out. There's colorism, featureism, all of that stuff. Microaggressions, it's all there. And it's funny how people always want to make everything a race thing. Because we're far more aware, because it happens to people of color more so than any other race. That's why. That's why it's always made to be an issue. Because we see it. We're used to it. You know me, I don't let you get away with that shit. So anyway, let's talk about YouTuber Trashy K and the latest with her and this mess that's going on with her and Cardi B. So she lost the appeal on a technicality and is still trying to fight this $4 million judgment because she ain't got money. Now, YouTube blogger Tasha K still refuses to give rapper Cardi the $4 million in a judge ordered her to pay damages after losing in the defamation case the Grammy winner filed against her. You know, the other day, Iggy Azalea threatened her ass too because she was talking mess. Now, Judge William Ray gave her the sentence. Now, during the jury trial, the defendants were prevented from presenting character evidence and specific incidences of conduct to the plaintiff, despite the fact that under Georgia law, if there is an assertion of damage to reputation, plaintiff's character is substantially an issue, Tasha K's attorney wrote. The jury heard a very lopsided presentation of evidence, and because yet to learn who the plaintiff truly is, the jury returned a general verdict to the plaintiff against both defendants. So they basically out here trying to say that we didn't get a true idea of who Cardi is. We watch Cardi on social media. She puts all her business out there, so we got a sense of who she is. The fact of the matter is, we know Tasha's reputation. If you've heard from many of the people who have dealt with her and many of the other bloggers who have spoken out about her, she is a mean, vindictive woman. She has talked a lot of trash about a lot of people. She's gone after so many people, and at one point was using Storm Monroe to fight her battles. Look, Armand Wiggins, if y'all ever watch his show, he will tell you all the tea about Tasha K and all the stuff that she has done to a lot of people, how she's been nasty and made very much transphobic comments towards T.S. Madison, but needed the opportunity to win on her damn show. Like, she was proud of what she did. We're just smart on T.S. Madison's part. It's like, you get more beans with honey. It's like, even though you don't like me, bitch, I'm gonna still get you on my show. It's called business. You work with people you don't like. Look at Monique. She about to work with Netflix after all that drama. And we're going to talk about that coming up. That's the next topic. Funny how everything's kind of flowing within each other, right? Transitions. Not just for trans people. Anyway. So you're out here saying that they got a lopsided view of who she is, that you couldn't get all the evidence. But when following the case, it seemed like you wasn't really prepared with all the actual evidence that needed to be presented. So who is Cardi? Y'all was out here accused of having all kinds of STIs and things of that nature, which turned out not to be true. She came and brought medical records that stated that all the things that she was saying, that the blogger was saying about her, wasn't true. So when you're out here trying to defame somebody for monetary purposes, yes, I'm taking your ass to court, and you're going to pay that $4 million. See, my petty ass would have taken down her YouTube channel, and I would literally price gouge her. Like, I would suck all the, like, this is what you pay me a month. You're going to have to figure out some way of making money, but this will learn you. This is why I tell people all the time, if you're going to be an influencer of any kind, if you're going to be doing blogging, if you're going to be a media personality, if this is the job that you're going to take on, you seriously need to present your facts and then give your opinion. So I look at the situation, I analyze it. If it don't sound right, I'm gonna question it. I'm gonna give my opinion on it. And this story reeked of a bunch of BS from the start. And if you're gonna talk mess, this is what you get. She's basically the old Perez Hilton with tits. Back in the day, you know, Perez has redeemed himself in so many ways, and we've seen him do the work. Because I've watched Perez Hilton after the whole, you know, the controversy with the blogs and all that stuff, and he has redeemed himself in a lot of ways. People still hold him to that old regard, even though he is basically changed. Like, he's not nasty towards celebrities and drawing crazy stuff on their faces and calling them weird names. Like, he's not out here calling people like Lindsay Lohan firecrotch and things of that nature. So he's not doing that anymore. And yeah, it's great, but you always gotta remember, people will always hold that old regard over your head, regardless. Even if you show that you're changing, yes, it's human, we change, we grow, we do all that stuff. But unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I don't know how this woman's gonna redeem herself. I don't know how, you know, after this whole case, and should she have to find a way to rebrand herself, I don't know if people are gonna buy into it and believe her, because you're so caught up in that matrix of having to be this messy blogger where you talk so much stuff about so many famous people. That's what's expected from the fans. They don't want to see this newly watched. I mean, maybe you'll generate new fans from the new you. But I don't think someone like her would change, because, you know, evil always will be evil. So I don't know what to tell you, but I guess if you're not going to pay the bill, if you're not going to come up with the $4 million, if you're not willing to pay, if you're going to keep refusing to pay it and keep trying to appeal, which I'm sure is going to cost more money to keep appealing, don't you have to pay for an appeal too? Lawyers to deal with that? You're going to put yourself even further down a rabbit hole. And then you're going to end up in jail, because if you don't pay the bill, then she's probably going to be like, well, lock her up. I was trying not to go Hillary Clinton on, but here we are. Okay, so congratulations to my girl Monique, who has, you know, secured a new deal with Netflix. She's going to Netflix after, you know, her little drama that she told us to boycott it. Child, I was not boycotting Netflix. I don't boycott. Look, there's some problematic stuff on there. Don't get me wrong. Like, if they treated her like crap, they treat her like a bullet. She came back to them at the end of the day, and so the boycott would have been for what? I'm not missing out on no shows. Now, if they were problematic in other ways, I wouldn't watch it. But anyway, so the comic made the announcement in a video message, excuse me, posted to the streaming service's Twitter account on Tuesday, saying, "I'm excited to say I'll be shooting my first Netflix special in addition to my final." Director Lee Daniels. You won't want to miss either of them, so stay tuned. The Grammy nominee, y'all gonna put Oscar winner in this post, because she is an Oscar winner. Thank you all. I love you. Oh wait, why don't y'all put that? But anyway, so what you should know is that the movie or the conference will be filmed in Atlanta, but we don't know anything else about it. Now she's also about to do a movie with what's his name, with Lee Daniels, which I heard is supposed to be sort of like a horror film of sorts. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I hope the movie is good though. And well, it's Andre Day is going to be in it. Glenn Close, Angelou Ellis, Caleb McLaughlin, Tasha Smith, love her. Omar Epps, Demi Singleton, Miss Lawrence. Yes, speaking of which, Miss Lawrence has been getting some gigs. Like, I'm looking for the fact that how he went from being a hairstylist to Sheree, and some of the girls on, I think a couple more girls on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and now he's making moves as an actor. Like, he was on Star. He was in, he's also in Bros, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing this September. And now he's about to star in this movie Deliverance. So, Miss Lawrence, shout out to you that you are getting a lot of acting gigs. I'm here for it. So the synopsis, if I go back to it, they said it's basically inspired by a terrifying true story where Andre Day plays Ebony, a mother who fights for her life, her faith, and the souls of her children after discovering their new home is haunted by a demonic presence. So, you know, they're going to add like all the extra bells and whistles and stuff. Like maybe it'll have some Conjuring vibes. Who knows? But I'm actually proud of that Monica's mended fences with Netflix. And people don't realize, like, this is not show friends. This is show business. I believe that is from Jerry Maguire, that line. But look, sometimes you got to dance with the devil to get what you need. And so I'm sure they worked it out. Netflix could definitely use some content, because if y'all been following the reports about Netflix as of late, they could definitely use some content and stuff on their page, like they're, you know, and some subscribers. So with them getting back in bed with Monique and offering her a sweet deal, which we don't know what it is. I don't know how much money she's being offered or what, you know, like I said, what the deal is. But I'm just glad that she's in good graces with Netflix again. Now, another person that I'm pretty excited about that's doing some things is Will Smith. So, you know, the Philly native is getting paid a whopping $35 million for his participation in the 2023 action-packed film Emancipation. Now, this was also the film, well, so now actually the number one wealthiest, or I should say, the number, yeah, I guess we're going wealthy. The number one wealthiest movie star in Hollywood right now is Tom Cruise. So Will Smith is number two. So if he's making $35 million, how much is Tom Cruise making? Is he making $40 million plus the back end? Because he makes back end deals too, like $100 million up front for, I think, Top Gun Maverick. Now, the anticipated suspense was originally announced back in June 2020 and scheduled to start production in 2021. However, due to location setbacks and COVID-19 related issues, filming for the expected blockbuster has halted. I thought it was filmed already. Apparently not. Now, additionally, following Will Smith's infamous Chris Rock slap, the release of Emancipation was pushed to 2023. It was reported that the Antoine Fuqua directed movie 2022 premiere delay was speculated to be the result of the controversy surrounding Will Smith and Chris Cajun. So they're trying to give it maybe a little bit of leeway before people, you know. But I think we've all moved on, and everybody's not wrapped up in this whole drama of the slap anymore. So I think we've all pretty gone. Like, I'm not even that worried about it. And you know what? Shout out to Will Smith for booking this. Oh, so I was right. And that was just off the top of the dome. So apparently, because shout out to Jasmine Brand for this story, it says Smith's hefty payoff for Emancipation earned him the title of the second highest paid actor, right behind Tom Cruise, who currently holds the number one spot for his $100 million plus Top Gun Maverick check. I told you he was paid $100 million up front. That's like $100 million for a damn movie. That's insane. But you know what? It's worth every penny. He made the movie's grossed over $1 billion. $1 billion. I didn't think that number would be attached to a Top Gun movie, but here we are. And shout out to Will Smith for that. However, I will say this: I was thinking about it. I'm like, but why off a movie called Emancipation? Because it's a slave movie. And yes, I get it. Antoine Fuqua is a black director, and he's directing it. But that still don't sit right with me. I don't care if you're green, if you're Asian, if you anything else. I'm sick and tired of Hollywood profiting and trying to make slave movies entertainment. I understand there's a bit of a love story up in there too, and this, that, and the other. But I don't like 12 Years a Slave. I don't like any of those slave movies. Like, I'm just tired of Hollywood trying to profit off of black pain. And it was funny because I went to go see Nope, and they actually showed a trailer for the new Emmett Till movie, which I think is called Till. And while it looks great, the acting was riveting to me. Like, I was getting all over my feelings watching it. And I know the historical context of Emmett Till. And I did get the story how they found the subpoena or something or another, that they were going to go arrest the woman who made the accusations against Emmett Till that got him killed and horribly disfigured. The warrant, I think, is what it was. They refused to still press charges against her. So while this lady continues to get away with lying and getting an innocent young man killed, I'll say with the Emmett Till thing, at least that film will get people's attention, and they'll be aware of the historical context. So I like, if a movie is done for historical context, I'm here for it. So if y'all giving me like Roots meets Love Jones with this movie, like, I don't know. I like I said, slave movies don't sit right with me. I don't know if I'll watch the movie. I don't know. I have to see the trailer to come to a conclusion. It'll take me a while to watch it, actually. But I don't particularly sit comfortably watching a lot of those type of movies. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm sick and tired of those slave movies, and you making $35 million off of a movie. Like, I can understand if it was like a big blockbuster film, you were playing like a John Wick character, or you were like it was some big superhero type of movie that you were getting paid $35 million for. I'd be here for it, but not with no damn slave film. And if you're making $35 million, how much is the budget for this film? That's what I'm curious about. And then I believe it's going to Amazon. So how are you even going to recoup back that money? I guess Amazon doesn't care because, they have Amazon, the whole corporation of Amazon, but they can still make their money regardless, because we rely a lot, even though we heard the problematic stuff, we rely wholeheartedly on Amazon. So now, next topic, let's talk about King Bay, because she has revealed the track list for her upcoming album, Renaissance. So now we're a week away from Beyonce releasing a highly anticipated 7th album. Yeah, I'm reading from my own article, by the way. Shameless self-promotion, but if I don't do it, who will? Okay. 7th album, Renaissance, and just moments ago, the singer released the album's track list via her Instagram story. Now, the 60-track album features intriguing titles such as America Has a Problem, Alien Superstar, Church Gal, Cuff It, Thick, spelled Thique, All Up in Your Mind, and more, along with the single You Gon' Break My Soul. No word on what the album sounds like, but insiders are saying that the record features a mix of house, techno, and country tracks, with production involvement from Ryan Tedder, The Dream, Tricky Stewart, and Raphael Sadiq, to name a few. Now, I did update it with a list of collaborators who helped put Renaissance together. Now, besides the aforementioned The Dream, Tricky, Raphael Sadiq, the album features Drake, which, in my opinion, I will say has me thinking that, remember when Drake went and put out his recent album, which has the dance record, the dance music and stuff on it? I'm starting to think that with Drake, he was inspired by what Beyonce was doing and decided to kind of, let me try a dance record. And while production-wise, the music is pretty much good. I like the production value. I just didn't like Drake trying to sing with his monotone half an octave range. I'm like, this is not what you should have did. If anything, I would have been like, somebody should have just, Drake should have went more of a Azealia Banks Case to Killer route if he was going to do that. Like, he should have just rapped over the house beat and just hired some girls to come on and sing the backgrounds or sing the harmonies or sing whatever. That's what he should have did with that record, instead of trying to take on the mantle of trying to sing his songs, because he does the singing and stuff on his other records. But that's like that, oh, I'm feeling so bad, I'm yearning for some love type of rap songs that he be doing. And it's like the album didn't work. But I have a feeling that this album will work because Beyonce has been doing her homework. And especially when I started reading a lot of notes. Who was it that I had in there? Okay. So it's gonna be like they have the vibe of the people up in there. I know that he has Drake, James Brown, Giorgio Moroder, Nile Rodgers, Pharrell, Donna Summer, Skrillex, and the one and only Moi Renee. You know who is famously known for her song Miss Honey. Miss Honey. I think you got that song, in case y'all never heard it. Oh, and I forgot Grace.
Honey. Miss Honey.
He's like, we had to try like get a little bit in there because we're not trying to get flagged up in this bitch. But shout out to Derek Gordon for sending me that. And if y'all want to see it, head over to Gay G-A-Y-E magazine over on Instagram because they were the ones who posted the clip with the song. So y'all can definitely check that out on good old Instagram because they definitely give me my life with a whole lot of stuff over there. So when I forgot, Grace Jones is on the album too. I forgot to remind you of that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And you know, so many people have tried to get Grace Jones on their albums. Rihanna, Lady Gaga. You know, she talks so much shit about Lady Gaga, which I live for a sidebar. But I did see a little bit of the Chromatica tour, and I have to say, Lady Gaga definitely stepping her pussy up. I still have my feelings about how I feel about her, but for the most part, you better do you on this tour. And one thing I also love about Beyonce, based on the tracks when I was reading them or looking at them, a lot of the songs are long. Like this song's an album that are at least a good 6 minutes. So I'm liking the fact that she's taking it back to the original album creation format where songs were longer than a goddamn TikTok video. And that's what I feel like a lot of artists are doing right now is that they're trying to make music to go viral on Instagram or TikTok or so, like any form of social media instead of really making music. Uh-oh. Look at Miss Wendy. But I was like, while we're out here while people are trying to make music for music's sake, like you can't, when it comes to dance music, you can't just be cutting them songs up to be short. Like I can't even get a shoulder shimmy in before the song is over with a lot of these dance tracks. But anyway, just to give it a little backtrack, born in Jamaica, Moi Renee moved to New York City in the late 70s to study dance. Now, as a student at the prestigious Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, Renee also began getting notoriety in the gay club scene for her performances, ultimately becoming a drag legend. Renee released the one dance single titled Miss Honey, produced by the iconic Franklin Fuentes during the early 90s. It was made available on 12-inch vinyl record from Project X Records. Miss Honey is noted for its dramatic spoken word vocals. The track is now categorized as a ballroom track, but during the initial release, we actually, and back when I was younger, and a lot of a lot of the older gays that basically raised me up and I hung out with, we used to call them bitch tracks, which in my opinion, I will always call a song where it's basically spoken word of a house beat, it's a bitch track. And we're going to keep calling it that, not a ballroom track. Y'all want to always try to squeaky clean or politically correct something. It's a bitch track. Oh, yeah. Like, we had to give y'all a little taste. Miss Honey, don't you hear me calling you Miss Honey? I know you hear me calling you Miss Honey. The bitch knew that I'd be back. She knew that I was not going wrong. Miss Honey. Where that bitch, she got some nerve. Here I am and feeling, yeah, Miss Honey. See, they ain't gonna flag me. I'm singing it, bitch. I'm just, you know, I'll be throwing my oaths whenever I hear that song. Oh, you know, Desmond is Amazing, the young drag queen, did a version of that song. Definitely look for that on YouTube. He gave me my life. I was like, yes, bitch, you better work, because you literally gave me my entire life as a young baby drag queen up in here performing, like strutting back and forth in a little dress in your pumps to Moi Renee's Miss Honey. I said, a little, you know, it always warms my little soul, my darkened little black heart, whenever we see the little babies out here who truly live for the iconic drag song. And don't just be, oh, I just want to pop dip and strip it to an Ariana Grande track or a Lady Gaga track or a Beyonce track. No shade, just saying. I like when y'all look towards the underground artists. But anyway, back to the story. And so basically, bit tracks were an early subgenre of house music. The song received heavy airplay in the gay dance club The Balls in 1992. Now, sadly, in 97, Renee was found dead in a hotel room. There was an investigation. However, the death was eventually ruled out to be suicide. However, many have disputed that in 2008, a video clip of Moi Renee performing Miss Honey live on the Sybil Bruncheon show was posted on YouTube. That's probably the same video out there. Y'all can find on YouTube. Beyonce has seemingly paid homage to Moi Renee by crediting Renee on the track. 90s drag fans from that time have since spoken out in excitement. So I have to say that I like the idea that we have Miss Renee on this album, and then the fact that, you know what, that Beyonce is inspired by these, is showing that she's inspired by so many of these people, and they helped put together Renaissance. But it's unfortunate because, you know what, I always looked at Kelly Rowland as being like this generation's Donna Summer, and I felt like she dropped that ball. Like, she had the opportunity to come out and put out the dance, like go full dance and stuff, but she did for a bit. But then she went and went right back to R&B, and it's like, girl, you had the opportunity to kind of separate yourself from doing all that stuff, and you just went right back to the thing that made you feel like you were just doing what everybody else was doing. So I'm really hoping that Beyonce does what needs to be done with when in regards of house music, and that it also, I'm hoping the underlining situation of when you listen to this record that you realize that house music is black music. It started out as black music before white artists started to take it over, and they tried to whitewash it and call it EDM and dance and all that other stuff. But yeah, house music originated from black folks. You had Larry Levan, who kind of was doing that, Frankie Knuckles, a lot of like that's the they're the icons of house music from back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s. And rest in peace to the both of them. Some songs are great short, like Wanna Be by the Spice Girls, but even they knew you need close to 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes a track. Agreed, but that's pop music. I'm talking about in regards of house music. House music always needs to be, whenever I listen to house tracks, and even Madonna will tell you, like back in the day when I bought a lot of her maxi singles from Virgin Records, or Virgin Megastore, not Virgin Records, Virgin Megastore in New York City, Times Square, right across the street from MTV and them. She always released her share. So many of the artists they knew back in those days. This is back in the 2000s, like during the queer as folk era, the 90s and 2000s, or even before that. But when you got those CDs, the maxi singles, there were always these long form remixes of songs. Even Mariah Carey, who would go in the studio and re-sing her vocals over, those type of songs. So, over her original tracks to a David Morales production. So I miss those days, and I'm hoping that we bring that back, because I feel like our attention spans have gotten too short. And also I heard that Beyonce released a cappella version of Break My Soul, which the DJs are happy about, because now they can do their remixes to the song. Now, whether or not they're good, that's up for debate. But the DJs are pretty much excited that they get to because that's what they did back in those days. So I love the fact that, a lot of people call her a thief. They she don't give writing credits. Probably doesn't scam. A lot of people in the industry don't give writing credit or any kind of credit. So it's sampling clearance, songwriting clearance, production clearance, all of that stuff. Everybody's going to be able to eat. So I like the fact that Beyonce is giving an opportunity for people to know. And the Beehive, I'm glad y'all doing y'all homework too, so y'all know what's going on. Yeah, I love I live with Tracy Young, but yeah, it's like this. So there's so many. So I like that. I hope that this opens up a door for more house music to make it through, done by the right people. We don't need the culture vultures coming in trying no shit. Like, I don't need Katy Perry all of a sudden having an epiphany and trying to, I want to do a house record. No, stay your ass over in Vegas with your little stuffed animals, your giant stuffed animals doing Teenage Dream and all that crap. Or stay over on boring ass American Idol and continue to be your boring little self. So yeah, so I'm happy that I hope this opens the door, and not only for that, but more house music artists and more DJs that kind of come out and get creative and feel that spark. Because it's been missing a while. Like I've been listening to a lot of dance music when I'm working out at the gym, and it's just like, these songs too damn short. But nevertheless, let me shut up and move on, because we are almost an hour and a half in the show, and I haven't even gotten to the LGBT topics yet. So Hannibal Lopez and Ben Affleck have tied the knots. Now they're officially Mr. and Mrs. Affleck. They went and got married last week on Sunday. right after the show, they went up eloping in Vegas. I think a couple of hours after I finished the show. And they were spotted honeymooning in Paris, France on Thursday. At the time, they're not in Vegas. I also heard that the two of them said that, even though I said this when I first heard it, that they're planning on doing a big bash, which I said that's the perfect thing to do. Like, why do we always have to have a big party, like a big extravagant wedding? Straight out the shade. Yeah. Well, I mean, did I say any lies about Katie Craig? I don't know. She irritates me. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, so one of the things I like about, I make the jokes about her having more rings than Thanos and Tom Brady. And y'all see me post the memes and this, that, and the other online, but I'm happy for these two. It took them 20 years to get back together. She was just engaged to A-Rod before she jumped ship with that fool and went over to Ben Affleck, which I know they're madly in love. I just recently saw the photos of Ben on a yacht with J-Lo and the kids, his 2 children, and then J-Lo's 2 children. I could only have 3 kids though. But they were with 2 of his kids and 2 of her kids. And he was passed out on the yacht, which rightfully so. He's exhausted. It's like, after marrying J-Lo, that's a lot that you got to deal with the kids, punching her every night. Like, he's 48, right? And I believe she's 52. 48 or 49. She's 52. She just turned 52. It's Leo season, in case y'all ain't heard. So, there's that whole dynamic. So, shout out to them. I hope it lasts because, this is a woman who believes in love and really invests in her relationship. So I hope the whole marriage thing works out. Now, I believe our number one topic isn't this Rolling Loud Festival story, because I'm assuming since this is what I have popped up. So apparently the Rolling Loud, which I call the Ghetto Coachella, kicked off in Miami last night. Now, day one of the hip hop festival saw some of the biggest names take to the stage, including some huge surprises. Now, day one was without its drama. Friday's headliner Kid Cudi threw his mic on the ground before screaming at fans and storming off the stage after being pelted with items thrown by audience members. Now, we had the video footage that we showed y'all a little bit in the beginning of the show. I'll give you a little taste of that before we come back to this story. So, roll the clip. I know it's spur of the moment, so I'm gonna give it a moment.
If I get hit with one more fucking thing, if I see one more fucking thing on this fucking stage, I'm leaving. Don't fuck with me.
I'm with Kid Cudi on this. I'm like, I don't understand why people just cannot just sit and watch a show and be respectful of the artists out there. These people who are up here getting paid, they're there to perform. They're not there for you to just be disrespectful, throwing items. Like, I got to worry about getting a possible concussion in the middle of performing for a crowd of people. This is why I just be like, you know what? There's certain festivals I will not perform for. Or we'll just have to have majority of y'all coming there dehydrated under 100-degree heat. Y'all can't bring no water bottles up here because assholes want to throw shit on stage. So I don't think he overreacted. I feel like a lot of y'all don't have no kind of respect for a lot of the artists that come out here and perform. And from what I heard, there was Kanye fans. But you throwing a bottle at Kid Cudi, what, that's supposed to get you a feature on Kanye's next album? That's supposed to get you a job at the, for Yeezy Productions, whatever the fuck he's calling that shit. And then I heard Kanye West came out during Lil Durk's Rolling Loud set. Didn't I thought they said that Kanye wasn't performing at the event and that they brought in that Kid Cudi replaced him. Or maybe I'm getting my story wrong. But I don't know. Oh, it said that was surprising to many, especially since he dropped off the lineup less than a week ago. Okay, so I was correct. But I was like, wait a minute, I could have sworn that I heard that he wasn't going to he dropped out and then he was replaced by Kid Cudi. I don't know if he was removed by the Rolling Loud for people who put the event together, or if it was he just didn't want to perform, but then he shows up and on someone else's stage. So I don't know, there's some pettiness that's going on behind the scenes that we don't really much know about. And there's an ongoing thing between these two. But I feel like, you know what, you rappers, y'all need to figure out what it is that y'all doing and stop trying to getting in these families, stop getting involved in these stupid shenanigans. Because at the end of the day, y'all not paying us to get involved in throwing bottles and shit. So I don't know why y'all get so invested in this mess. I get invested because it's part of the job in media. So that's why I do it. But anyway, let's take this break because, child, I'm going to have to try to figure out how I'm going to squeeze all this stuff in the next hour. I've done that many topics, actually. I can probably place this really quickly. But anyway, so we're going to talk about Lil Uzi Vert changing his pronouns. We got some tea on Drag Race. There's another version coming. And so I'm going to list off all the 2022 editions. Drag Race Philippines judge Jiggly Caliente is clapping back at her critics who are upset that she has a job on Drag Race Philippines and who they feel should have been given the job instead. We're going to talk about Noah Schnapp from Stranger Things, admitting that his character on the show is gay, and I got some comments about that. We're going to talk about Wanda Sykes not showing up on The View due to Alyssa Farrah Griffin being on the panel. Whoopi Goldberg went in on a Republican congressman over the same-sex marriage bill. Elvira went off on that 8 Herschel Walker's son, because he literally looks like Magilla Gorilla. Like, you literally look like a walking stereotype. But his troll-ass son, who I don't even think is acknowledged by his own daddy. We're going to talk about that. And Dave Chappelle want us to drama. And I'm going to try to squeeze in this Rico Pruitt story. If we don't get around to that, then we'll try to save it for next week. But let me shut up. Let me take this break. Come back and get to as many of these topics as we can. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with more Kris Avalon Unfiltered.
Unfiltered, filtered, filtered, filtered.
Oh, all right, never mind. Look at me exaggerating. I seen a nigga on there say, boy, your back ain't hot. Surprisingly, not. I'm just a cool ass individual.
I'm hungry. You want some seafood? Ooh. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, damn. Yeah, I know you heard us. No, I'm sorry. I didn't hear y'all. What's good? We just have a question. Do you play for the winning team? The winning team? Boy, he wanna know if you gay. Oh, nah. I like women. Oh, we thought you looked real familiar. You have a good day. All right, y'all have a good day too. Oh, not him lying.
Unfiltered, filtered, filtered, filtered.
Hello, welcome back to the second half of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. I was about to say the Kris Avalon show. Remember that show? Them videos are still up there on all streaming platforms. That old legendary podcast where I was messier than I am today. I've grown. I've changed. I'm a new woman. Anyway, so basically, this is our our LGBT portion of the show. We just talk about all things going on in the LGBTQ community. And things of that nature. So, first topic, shout out to Lil Uzi Vert, who has changed their pronouns on social media as they, them on Instagram. The Sanguine Paradise rapper, who's 26, made the update to their gender identity after International Non-Binary People's Day on June 14th. Born Samir Basil Woods, the performer has yet to address the change in an official capacity other than updating their social media profile. They did, however, respond to a tweet directed at them that read, "Yo, they writing yo eat, yo yeet." What? Okay, child. I'm gonna need somebody to translate that. But anyway, this news comes after Uzi surprised fans with Space Cadet, a new track from the Philadelphia native uploaded to SoundCloud. Is SoundCloud still a thing? I guess it is. I think you gotta pay a fee now to like listen to all the music and stuff on there. The Money Longer artist then tweeted, "I am a space cadet, the geek that real," along with several emojis, including the alien space. Okay, so now what I'm trying to take from it, because I was like trying to understand. Okay, so with Uzi changing their pronoun to they them, does that mean that he is a part of the LGBTQ community? Is he trying to come out of the closet? Because I think he's dating one of the city girls, if I'm not mistaken. But I think this is what this is that they look at themselves as just, and I can totally see it, like very David Bowie. Speaking of which, there's a David Bowie movie, documentary, whatever, something or another, coming out in IMAX, and I need to see this film. I saw, like, they showed the trailer during Us. Nope. The other Jordan Peele movie. They showed the trailer during Nope. First, I saw the big poster in the theater when I was going there. I was like, "Oh, that looks cute." But then when I saw it, and they told me it's going to be an IMAX, bitch, I'm getting me a ticket. I'm someone who loves David Bowie. I love the whole Ziggy Stardust thing. I love the music. I like this whole, everything about him and the whole vibe. Like Velvet Goldmine is like another one of my favorite movies starring Christian Bale and Ewan McGregor, where they had that whole vibe of, the whole glam rock vibe thing that was going on those days, where David Bowie kind of presented himself as a space alien. And I think that's where Uzi is coming from with this thing. We have the whole diamonds tattooed in his face. He changed his hair color, their hair color. it's all these different things that Uzi's doing. So I think their thing is they're looking at them as sort of, I'm this otherworldly alien type of thing. I don't see myself as particularly male or female. I see myself as a mixture of the two. So I think that's if me reading this is where I'm coming from with this. I don't think it has to do with sexuality. I think it has to do, well, changing of pronouns, the non-binary has nothing to do with sex. I should say that too. It's very much about gender identity, and sometimes we don't always feel like we are this one little thing. I think we all have masculine and feminine traits. Some tip more on one side than the other, and some people choose to embrace both sides unapologetically. And I live for those who choose whatever side they want to choose. But as long as you're not hurting nobody, it don't bother me, Gert. So 2022 will be a landmark year for the ever-expanding RuPaul's Drag Race franchise. Now, fans from around the world haven't heard a thing about the so-called Drag Race fatigue, as Mama Ru greenlights new versions of this series and introduces incredibly talented LGBTQ plus artists to a global audience. Now, besides the ongoing international editions getting new seasons, the Drag Race universe keeps expanding to different countries as well. Now, as a matter of fact, just recently, Drag Race Belgique was just announced as the franchise's newest international spin-off, set to spotlight some of the best talent that Belgium's drag race scene has to offer. All I know is that Jean-Claude Van Damme is from Belgium, through the muscles of Brussels, and drag queen Rita Baga, who I'm not mistaken, I think it was Drag Race Hollow, one of them damn shows she was on. She is hosting the show, and I have to give it up to RuPaul's Drag Race. He may not have none of the Drag Race girls sit beside him as the judges panel, and I wish he would do that for his American version of Drag Race. But one of the things he does do, and I live for, is the fact that he gives former contestants the opportunity to host spin-offs of his other shows. So I love that. I believe I have a list of queens who... so there's a bunch of shows that we got. Before we get to that, I want to read to y'all. So we've had so far in 2022, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14, 15 on the way. RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World, which in my opinion, I was disappointed with. Drag Race Aspiring Season 2, which gave me my entire life. That is like one of my favorite franchises out of all. RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 7, which is currently airing on Paramount Plus, and I believe their finale is next week or the following week. I'm not sure because I haven't watched the new episode yet, but I'll get around to that this weekend. RuPaul's Secret Celebrity Drag Race, I just did a whole story on that over on KrisAvalon.com. Definitely check that out along with the trailer. Comes out on August 12th on VH1. They're basically taking a more Masked Singer approach with Secret Celebrity Drag Race, which I'm living for. RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 2 is set to be coming out this year. Drag Race Belgique, which I just mentioned, that's first season. Canada's Drag Race Season 3 just kicked off this week. Not necessarily feeling it. I don't know. The Canadian accents irritate me. No shade to y'all Canadians out there. And then some of these contestants, I also don't like the judges. Like I don't know who that girl is. Brad, who used to be Goreski, who used to be with Rachel Zoe. He comes on. I don't get authentic from him. And then Brooklyn Heights, I'm like, girl. But look, you getting a check, I live for it. Also, Drag Race France, which is currently airing along with Nikki Doll, who was a former contestant from season 12, American Drag Race. She's the new host. And Drag Race UK season 4 is about to be coming, along with Drag Race Italia. So that's Italy season 2. Drag Race Philippines is coming next month with Jiggly Caliente. We're going to get in that story in a minute. Drag Race Thailand season 3. About damn time, because I live for vagina heels, and we've been waiting so long for this season, and now it's finally coming. So I cannot wait for Drag Race Thailand. Canada Drag Race, Canada versus the World. Yeah, that's coming too. And Drag Race Sweden, season 1. So yeah, there's a lot of Drag Race. And you know what? Shout out to Wild Presents Plus, because they just have this whole channel of just Drag Race content that I guess we can't get enough of. We could either watch or reject it. So I'm here for RuPaul and them building this empire. Like you have your own streaming service where you can show all these different programs pertaining to our community. And I hope that World of Wonder or WoW opens the opportunity up for more queer content to come on that stream, because I said we need a gay streaming service. But especially like when we were talking about with Juan Renee and everything, and trying to give that gay history, sort of like with Black history. Entertainment should, I guess, take on the mantle, because when you got people like Ron Dumb Santis trying to prevent, books and banning books and don't say gay, and this happened to somebody he running for president. Oh yeah, KJ Apple. Who knows? Maybe I wonder if he's actually going to be on this season, because I remember he did say that he loves Drag Race. He had a whole drag name. We won't find out until we watch the show, because they're keeping it a secret until they're eliminated. Then they reveal who the person is, a la The Masked Singer. So speaking of Drag Race Philippines, let's talk about, now in May 2022 at DragCon, Jiggly was announced as one of the main judges on Drag Race Philippines, which I saw the trailer and I was here for it, because I love Miss Jiggly. I remember her when she used to perform back in the day at the Web, the only Asian club in New York City, I should say. I used to love going to that place. That's where I met Max Connor too, the porn star. He used to dance there before he became Max Connor. So I remember her when she was a lot smaller. I told you I don't know people. Anyway, the upcoming series will be hosted by Paulo Ballesteros, a Filipino drag star who has 2.4 million followers on Instagram. Now, certain fans complain that Caliente landed the judge role given her track records on Drag Race Season 4 and All-Star 6. Instead, these people argue that Drag Race Season 3 runner-up Manila Luzon should have landed that spot, which caused Caliente to clap back. And I was going to say, when I heard this story, I was like, wait a minute. Why y'all want Manila? Manila has a drag show called Drag Den coming out on a whole nother network with a whole nother company. So why they want her there? And plus, regardless of how Jiggly was on her season, that was between her and that camaraderie of the show. So I should be denied a job because you didn't like how I was portrayed or how I portrayed myself on a reality competition show? Like, fuck out of here. But anyway, nevertheless, she said, I understand you wanted at Manila Luzon, I'm glad she tagged her in it too, to be in my place. She has her own show coming soon where you can support, love, and glorify her over there. Can I just have this moment? I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking you to accept the inevitable that I'm the judge on Drag Race Philippines. And here's the gag. I know it's shocking to some of y'all, but if you don't like Jiggly, don't watch her. If you don't want to see this show because somebody you don't like is on there, don't fucking watch it. It's that simple. It just, people always have to post their gripe about what they don't like on TV, and it's like, or on social media, and it's like, how she was at the time was how she was. I don't necessarily know if she is still that way in real life or however the case is, or she is that way now. I don't think she is. So should Jillian not have been on polls because of y'all didn't like the fact of how she was on her season? Should they not have written her on the show? She's out here bettering herself and doing the damn thing. So let her be how she is. I think if people are just relatively nasty throughout their life, if y'all point out them things and expose them to that, then that's great. But to deny someone a job just because you didn't like them on TV, it's stupid. So other noteworthy fact behind these casting decisions that Caliente was born in Laguna, Philippines and moved to the US at 10. Now in turn, Luzon has a Filipino mother but was born in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. As such, it is likely the producers wanted judges who could understand the language and cultural references that the queens on Drag Race Philippines will be showcasing. So yes, while Manila is Filipino and is, as am I, I'm part Filipino as well. I don't know if you know, but yes, I am. While Manila is, Filipino, she is not of the country. She wasn't born and raised in the Philippines. Jiggly was. So they wanted somebody who could speak the language, who understands the references, and who is somebody who knows the culture. Not just, because I'm Filipino, I should just be given a job. Like, I like the fact that they want to really make it as authentic as possible. And I'm sure they knew what they were doing when they casted her. So shout out to Jiggly. And you continue to do you, girl. Don't listen to these people. Who else is going to be judging her on the show? And I wonder what the reason was that Manila decided not to host drag or judge Drag Race Philippines. Maybe the opportunity for her to do drag then was that she could host it. She didn't want to be a judge. She probably wanted to be a host. But if anything, I would love to host a drag race show or something. Not a drag race show, but a drag show like a drag race, but my own little thing. I got other ideas too. But anyway, so they said in the judges panel will consist of Ballesteros as the host, and Caliente as a recurring judge alongside Karen. This is a history-making moment for the overall franchise, as 2 trans women will be recurring judges on Drag Race Philippines. So that's good, because yeah, she did come out as trans, and I didn't know that. I've never heard of this other girl, but Karen, but she's a trans drag queen. Which I thought, okay, let's move on. And yeah, look, she's not the only one who's had opportunities. And like I said, so many people have had the opportunity to become judges and really get paid off of doing Drag Race. So we have Brooklyn Heights on Canada's Drag Race. You got Nikki Doll over on France's Drag Race. Rita Baga, who was about to host Drag Race Belgique. Envy Peru, who judged Drag Race Holland Season 2, and she was on Drag Race Holland Season 1, so she got to judge the second season. Teresa May, who was the first Spanish queen, I guess, to get put on Drag Race UK. She actually got to be a judge on Drag Race España, along with Alexis Mateo, who y'all know was from Drag Race Season 3, All Stars 1, and All Stars 5. So she got to judge Drag Race España Season 2, which I lived for. Jimbo, who was problematic in all of UK versus the world. I particularly did not care for her on that episode, or on her season, but it is what it is. She's about to be a judge on Canada's Drag Race Season 3 because she is from Canada's Drag Race. Vanessa Benji Mateo is about to be a judge on Canada's Drag Race Season 3, which is currently airing. You know she's from Drag Race Season 11. And like I just spoke about, Jiggly, and you have Trixie Mattel, who is about to do Queen of the Universe Season 2, and who they replaced Leona Lewis with Mel B from the Spice Girls. She's about to be a judge on Queen of the Universe now. So that should be relatively interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. Okay, so Stranger Things star Noah Schnapp has revealed that, well, we already heard about the whole Doja Cat thing. I don't want to sit and break that down because it's going to be too much. I just want to get to the topic. He basically said that Will is gay and he is in love with Mike, which we all knew. So one of the many thrills embedded in Stranger Things has been watching each of the young cast. Now Will never has, and throughout the briefly concluded 4th season, he struggled to articulate to his best friend Mike Wheeler why, there's this abandonment situation between those two where it's like Mike and the friends of well-discovered girls and mature beyond their days of playing Dungeons and Dragons, where Will wants to kind of keep things as they were when they were young kids. Now, they said from the start, it seems clear that Will is gay and terrified to come out. When Variety asked Schnapp and his co-star Millie Bobby Brown about it in May for Volume 1 of Season 4, Schnapp said instead that Will's sexuality was up to the audience's interpretation. Now, in a follow-up interview this week following the conclusion of Season 4, the 17-year-old actor is clear that he felt compelled to dodge that question to avoid spoiling Will's emotionally nuanced journey in the final 2 episodes of the season, as crafted by creators and executive producers Matt and Ross Duffer. He also talked about the standout scene from the season finale and wasn't in the original script, and he talked about a whole bunch of other stuff. So Variety has that exclusive story. I didn't even hear it because I didn't know the whole interview. I just saw that it was there and I posted it. But here's the thing. Him admitting it is, I actually think it's a great thing that they admitted. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this story is because I was watching Beat Face with Lindsay on Thursday. Hey girl, y'all know who Lindsay is. She does, Drinks and Drag along with myself and Remy. There's a friend of ours, Angel, who, has partaken in talking on the show a lot of the time when I would go live and stuff. He basically was the guest on the show. They were both in drag and they were talking about their favorite TV shows and this and the other. And Angel started talking about Stranger Things and how he was upset over the fact that they would not say that Will is gay, and then how they would not come to terms with the fact that Will is gay. Why aren't they saying it? They should just come out and say it. They're beating around the bush and all this other stuff. With so many words is what Angel said. And so I responded, but I also wanted to talk about it here because I feel like I need to really give more context to what I would say. I was like, first of all, the show is accurate in regards of dealing with Will and expressing his sexuality, that sort of thing. This season, I believe, takes place in 1985. Wasn't nobody coming out talking about they was whole homosexuals in the 80s, especially when we had the AIDS crisis going on, the AIDS Holocaust is what I call it. Reagan not even admitting that gay was even a disease that existed. Gay men were dying left and right from this virus. Also, there weren't a lot of role models, I believe, in the 80s that were coming out as gay. Like, you had Sylvester, you had heard about him. You heard about Boy George, but Boy George wasn't really out. He was flamboyant. He referred to himself as a drag queen, I believe, one time when he won an American Music Award. But he wasn't somebody that was truly out. There were no role models in those days. So I think a lot of times when I keep saying, stop looking at things that happened in the 80s with a 2022 or through a 2022 lens. That wasn't the world. First of all, it wasn't even until recently that more and more people started becoming more comfortable speaking about their sexuality and coming out without the ridicule of losing their job, which a lot of times, I think in certain states, you still have to deal with that. Being denied a home because you're gay, or if you're a gay couple. You have, situations where people are trying to overturn, things that have to do with being gay and that sort of thing. They're trying to overturn stuff. We'll try to get to that topic in a second. We may go over a little bit, sorry. But yeah, we're going a little behind the show. But anyway, so when I was saying that, I was like, Will was right in, how he expressed it, where it was like, yeah, and look, I'll even speak from my experience. When I was a kid, I had crushes on boys all the time. Yeah, there were situations where we fooled around in secret. I never said I was gay. People would call me the F word or call me little names and all those other things of that nature. That's what you kind of deal with when you're a kid. You denied it, you get in fights, that sort of thing. But I never came out and just said it. Even in New York City, like, as I said, you have to really understand the context and the audience. So I know, like, everybody, gays just want representation any chance they can get it. But I feel like I said, the Duffer Brothers were correct in trying to be as accurate and as authentic as possible in regards of how a boy would express his feelings. And even Will's brother knew without constantly just basically saying, it's like, well, whenever you're ready, it's so many words, it's like, whenever you're ready to come out and say it, well, we'll go along with it. I'm here for you. I love you regardless. Oh yeah, the other thing with Maya Hawke would talk about what girl she liked with Joe Keery. I'm saying real life names instead of the character. That's how I get sometimes. She would talk about when they were working in Blockbuster, the girl she had crushes on and this and the other, but she never go forth and really act those out because, the fear. And you also got to think, this is Indiana, this is the Midwest. There wasn't nobody out here talking about they was whole homosexuals. I didn't know Indiana. Especially, didn't they have there was the whole Ryan White situation. There was the whole, what was it, Matthew Shepard. Like, there's a lot of these things that were going, Brandon Tina. There's a lot of these sort of, I really feel like this younger generation, y'all seriously need to do your homework before y'all start going on social media and start spewing all these things about the world that you weren't even alive to experience or be aware of. So, that's all I gotta say on that. Lanier says exactly, Stranger Things is not like Ryan Murphy's Hollywood. The latter presented a utopia while the former keeps everything in sync with that time. And we did not talk about gay back then. Sure didn't. Did not talk about being gay in those days. First of all, when I was in the 90s and the 2000s, we weren't even talking about gay. So a lot of y'all 90s babies, 2000 babies that are coming to terms with y'all sexuality now in 2022, that wasn't how it was in those days. Excuse me. Okay, so one of the sites, let's talk about The View, reportedly back on a scheduled guest guest hosting gig on ABC's The View due to the presence of former Trump press aide Alyssa Farah Griffin on the show's panel. And the reason why I brought this up because I'm part of the Joy Behar group on Facebook, and they started talking about this, and I gave some comments, and I was talking with people back and forth in a respectful manner. So I thought this would be a good topic to bring up. Now, comedian Sykes, a frequent guest panelist and noted critic of former President Donald Trump, was slated to appear on The View last Friday, not this Friday past, Friday before that. According to a report, however, reportedly mixed a plan after her publicist learned that Farah Griffin would serve as a co-host on the program. She didn't want to be a part of helping a Trumper launder her reputation, a source described as the View insider told the Daily Beast regarding the turn of events. The View declined to comment on the report. The Post has also reached out to Sykes representatives for comment. They said that Sykes was heckled by fans in New Jersey after she opened a set with a series of jokes about Trump. She also took aim at Trump in her 2019 Netflix special, Not Normal. Here's the thing. I've been hearing stories that Alyssa Farah Griffin is the front runner to be the replacement for Nutmeg McCain. Now, I've been watching The View, and I feel like this is the publicist not doing their homework or watching The View or even knowing what is going on. Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Katie Lang and Melissa Etheridge had careers despite being gay. Oh, and let's also not forget Ellen DeGeneres suffered for coming out of the closet on her primetime show. She was blacklisted for a while, then she came back with the talk show. So yeah, it was okay to be a lesbian, but it had to be in a certain field of music. Like you could be a lesbian and do like this soft rock music. And it's always easier to be more accepted to be gay if you're a woman, a white woman, than you would be a male. But anyway, so here's the thing. I get that the whole thing about Wanda not wanting to be a part of the show, but here's the thing. I'm going to defend Alyssa slightly. To me, I feel like Alyssa has been using this opportunity to atone for her ways of following the whole Trump regime, working for him and this, that, and the other. And she left when shit got a little too crazy. Not excusing the behavior, because I feel like if you're going to jump on that Trump train in the beginning, something got to be wrong with you. But a lot of us who are from New York and have followed Donald Trump and that whole fantasy BS that he's done over the years, and how he would call in and pretend to be somebody else to be on, how he would pretend to be his own, somebody else to try to be his own cheerleader or whatever. He would call in the press, he would do all this stuff, pretend under a fake name. Like he was a full essential stunt queen. I can't even talk. He was an essential stunt queen. That's what he was. So Alyssa has kind of come out and been like, you know what, I'm against Trump and against all the things that he said. But to me, when you're gonna be, I'm not gonna go on your show because I don't agree with your this, that, and the third. And it's like, did you even watch clips of Alyssa on the show? Like, yeah, she's not psychotic like Nutmeg. She doesn't go and just start cursing people out or being disrespectful and trying to be, messy and rude because it's her way or no way. She's the only one that understands politics because I'm John McCain's daughter. Like, she wasn't giving that. So you should understand that going on The View, it's a show about women who have different opinions on things. You're going to get that conservative opinion. You're going to get that liberal opinion. You're going to get that independent opinion. You're going to get different types of opinions. So I don't feel like, I agree, I don't feel like they have followed the initial idea of what Barbara Walters built with The View. Now it's just, y'all just grasping at straws for ratings. And to me, personally speaking, I do not think they need to permanently replace Nutmeg McCain on The View. I think what they need to do is leave that fifth chair as a revolving door of conservative guests. So you can have my girl Anna Navarro come in and do what she does, but then you can have the Tara Set Mayers and the Alyssa Farah Griffins and the other black chick that came on the other day that gets on my damn nerves sometimes. Like, y'all gotta have that revolving door. And I think they need to bring back Guy Day Friday. Like, I would love for them to have a man come on and they talk about certain topics, and then the guy sits on the panel and really gives his opinion on certain topics. Like, we kind of need to bring that back. I feel like Brian is fucking up this damn show, and he needs to go. So, I miss kind of like, I mean, you can always evolve the show, but it shouldn't be so rooted in politics. And to me, also, why is Whoopi there? Like, to me, she's just sitting in that chair, taking up space, not really giving an opinion on stuff. I mean, she'll say the same thing every episode. If you don't want to have an abortion, don't have an abortion. It's up to us to vote. Like, it just literally sounds like that she, you're the ones who gotta go and decide what happens with the world. We all know that is not how it is. First of all, we need to get rid of the electoral college. It's not as black and white as she tries to make it on that show. You're saying it because you're a rich woman with a lot of opportunities and you just want your damn tax cuts. I love your deal, I love your movies, but I feel like a lot of times when your political opinions, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But for the most part, I just feel like with her, she's just sitting there, like she's not as engaged with giving her opinion or moving the show forward instead, or really moderating like Joy does. To me, in my opinion, I feel like Joy is a better moderator. I've been said that because she understands the assignment. She's really there. She really goes in. She's funny, and she really goes in with her jokes. I don't have to hear the same "my titties hanging down to my knees" joke or "oh, I farted" joke. Like, it's whatever. I need Whoopi to go back to acting. Like, go back to do. I know she got Sister Act 3 coming. Candace who? Candace Owens? Because I was about to say, when she was there when Candace Murray was there. First of all, I was in the audience when Candace Murray was a call. I don't know why they picked her, but whatever. Okay, so shout out. So I feel like, you know what, Wanda, you should have went on the show instead of your ground. I don't think that someone like Alyssa would have been disrespectful to you like a nutmeg. But still, I don't care. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from going on a show and giving my damn opinion. I don't care who it is. And in life, we always agree to disagree. So Whoopi Goldberg took no prisoners in the response to Congressman Jim Jordan's argument against the same-sex marriage bill. Now, during Wednesday's installment of The View, Whoopi addressed remarks by Republican Jim Jordan on a new bill that aims to protect same-sex and interracial marriage. The Respect of Marriage Act, which has passed at the House and now waits the Senate, aims to protect marriage equality in anticipation for potential rollbacks by the Supreme Court. However, Jordan called the bill the latest installment of the Democrats' campaign to delegitimize and intimidate the United States Supreme Court, saying Democrats can't run on a disastrous record. They can't run on any accomplishments less than 4 months before an election, and all Democrats can do is stoke unfounded fears. Well, here's the thing. Y'all the ones running out here saying all this stuff trying to prevent same-sex marriage, trying to stop women from making choices about their bodies. It's not the Democrats that's doing that. It's Republicans. It's these GOPers who literally want these stupid-ass votes and are basically trying to prevent, using all these distractions and bells and whistles so they can try to steal elections. But this is a scare tactic. So how are they trying to Jones up fears? Well, y'all the ones putting it out there. Like, even that field slave, Clarence Thomas, was out here talking about, like, yeah, and gay marriage is next. Well, let them go after what do they call it? Loving that whole case or whatever, which is Brown versus Loving. Is that what it's called? I can't remember off the top of my head. Where it's basically like the whole interracial marriage, like trying to ban that. And that child, if they go after that, he's gonna have a heart attack because he married to a white woman. And we know that you're married to her not because you're in love with the woman. There's some power situation going on there. Y'all both benefit from each other in so many ways. So Whoopi basically said, I know you don't really pay attention to much, but I will say that what the Democrats seem to be running on is also protecting everyone's rights regardless of whoever you love. They're trying to make sure that the rights you are so easily able to give away, we're trying to hold on and say, actually, you can't do that. Especially for a lot of folks who are also married interracially, which is coming up bobbing its ugly head around. So you're talking about basically same-sex couples and interracial couples getting married for the same reasons others get married, to make a lifelong commitment to the person they love. And that's what Joy said. So it's easy for straight people to run out here and just, white heterosexual people to go out here and get all the things that they need to get. But it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just so tired of these damn politicians out here saying dumb stuff for attention or to get people riled up and this, that, and the other. And I'm just over it. So shout out to Whoopi for saying what she said and standing up for marriage equality, and the LGBTQ club has been pretty much an ally. So shout out to her. Now, speaking of trolls, Shout out to Elvira, who trolled Christian Walker. Now, you know that problematic happened. Last week, he got into a argument or was picking, I guess he went in on Kalani, who was at a Starbucks, I believe. She was in a drive-thru or something like that. They were in a drive-thru. I forgot. They used they them pronouns. They were in a drive-thru, and Christian was screaming and hollering, "I'd have slapped the life out of that heifer." But that's what that creature wants. He's not getting enough attention from his stupid ass father, who's out here talking about skies and things are shifting and air is changing over in different parts of the world. He's sitting there talking about climate change inaccurately, instead of paying attention to them kids he got out of wedlock, and then this fool that's all on social media being a sunken place child for attention. So it also started with a one table meme posted on Twitter user Center Lefty POV asked, "Which table are you eating at?" This is a more difficult decision than you may think, as each table has one icon like Dolly Parton, Ariana Grande, or Lady Gaga, but one or two nightmares like Michael Myers, Ron DeSantis, or Marjorie Taylor Greene. Or in this case, you had Elvira and Mariah Carey. So there was a picture that Elvira posted on her Twitter that said, "You can't sit with us," and a laugh emoji, a loud crying emoji actually. So it was Mariah and Elvira together. And so Elvira went on to make it very clear exactly who she was referring to with the "you can't sit with us." And she said, especially at Christian Walker. She wrote and punctuated with a vomit emoji and tagged him directly. So the girls were getting their whole life over the fact that, you know. Oh, okay. We got a couple more minutes and then we're gonna wrap this up. So I'm gonna actually save the Rico Pruitt story. Actually, you know what? I will save the Dave Chappelle story. I don't really want to talk about that one. Let's go into the whole Rico Pruitt thing. So apparently he said something or another that it's hard to find love as a porn star. Now, what I forgot about, because, you know, once upon a time, Rico Pruitt, who I believe he was doing some YouTube movies or TV shows or whatever, was it something? Oh my God, what was the company that it was for? Anyway, he was doing some acting, and I remember Mama D played his mother, and it wasn't there a scene where she walked in on him getting hunched. But anyway, so he's been making his career as like a porn star. He left OnlyFans to go Just Fans now. At one point, he was dating Cash De Niro. They broke up. They had an ugly breakup. I remember that because it was all over social media. Them two were going back and forth, and it lasted like for days. He also was dating Fame, another porn star, and they recently broke up. And now he's sitting out here talking about how it's hard to find love as a porn star. And there was also a tweet that I had sent production, where I guess it stemmed from where he was feeling like he was heartbroken, and then people are making accusations that he may have fallen off the wagon and is getting back into drugs and that sort of thing. I don't know if that's true. I know he's probably had a substance abuse battle. There's been word that he's had battles with substance abuse. I know Casanero, when he was dating him, you know, he's even talking about his substance abuse battles. And everybody, you know, it's no secret that a lot of people who do adult films tend to get caught up in drugs and things of that nature and all that stuff. Not all of them, but a vast majority of them get caught up in this matrix of, you know, weed and alcohol and, you know, becoming alcoholics and becoming Methodists, if you know what I'm saying, and I think you do. First of all, another thing, Robert, they would never put Candace Owens on no damn The View. They wouldn't go that far. They receive for ratings over some of the controversial stuff people say, but they would never be that desperate. So yeah, he said it's hard to be a porn star. Now, find love as a porn star. And you know what? I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I think there's some, excuse me, some validity to what he's saying. I think a lot of times when you get caught up in the adult film industry, people get caught up in the fantasy of what porn is, but you have to realize porn is work. It's like hours and hours or hours of your shooting film that gets whittled down to like a 30-minute scene. And the amount of work and the amount of pressure that it takes to even be an OnlyFans or just a fans porn star, where you're constantly having to churn out content. I have a lot of friends who work in the adult film industry, and I'm constantly seeing them having to churn out content on a daily or every other daily or a weekly basis, depending on how, you know, they got to keep that shit going. He says, dating is so hard being an adult entertainer. I feel like no one takes me seriously, just wants me for sex. And it's like, I agree with that, because I feel like the whole context of how we look at porn where we just look at porn as just, oh, you're just a body. Oh, you're just gonna, all the stuff you do in these films. Oh, it's either you're insecure because you gotta try to live up to that fantasy instead of just being with this person and seeing them as a person and as a human being, which I think also plays into why adult film stars get all messed up. I think it also plays into why they struggle to kind of find a sense of self, because they try to get caught up in trying to live that fantasy and trying to be something that they're not for the sake of whoever this person that they're hooking up with, because they just want to be loved. But the person that they're hooking up with doesn't see them as nothing more than a sexual object. And it's unfortunate that that's the way things are. But, you know, I don't know what you could do to change people's minds. I guess you would just have to try. I don't even know if quitting the porn industry is going to help, because it's like, well, damn, now I got to try to figure out, so I got to go work a 9 to 5? Because people kind of judge you on that too. You go and work for, you know, retail, whatever job you get. You know, there's always some messy queen that's going to go out there and say, oh, well, guess what? I know this person from, and they do this, and then you end up after they take it to HR and they hear about it, people buzzing. You're a distraction. You have to be fine. We've seen these stories happen where girls work. There was a girl that worked a job, and a regular job, and I think she was a mechanic, and she had an OnlyFans, and what happened was they fired her because they were like, she's a distraction to the male workers. Now, mind you, they're the ones who's up in there saying their misogynistic crap and being disrespectful and ha ha hee hee and cackling in the corner over things, you know, that's going on, and it's her fault. Lanier says, is it really hard for him to believe that it's hard to date? I knew that it would be going in. I didn't date for the entire 3 years I was in the industry. Well, I think because, you know, a lot of times people think they can have their cake and eat it. They don't realize that, I guess, you know, a lot of times people don't really weigh the pros and cons of adult filmmaking before they jump into it. A lot of them look at it as like, you know what, whatever their circumstance is, they go into it not really fully thinking it through. And I think a lot of times people, like future porn stars, you know, future adult OnlyFans, just fans, former fans, everybody's fans. If y'all thinking that this is the career that y'all want to get into, you have to really think about it. It's like, I think a lot of times the relationships that tend to work longer, or for the most part, are other adult performers. I think you have to kind of be a porn star or somebody who's really secure with themselves to want to get into a relationship with an adult film star. So I just think that it's just not easy. So yeah, it's hard. So I just feel like maybe what Rico has to do is really take time to sit with himself, figure out, is this something he wants, like, is he willing to just sacrifice and give up adult entertainment, his career, to be in a monogamous, one-on-one, single relationship with one person, or, you know, he's really got to take that to, I don't know, see a therapist, really like meditate. I don't know. You have to just really, I just think, take time with yourself. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just like, these are the options. It's like, maybe really take your time to really sit within yourself and figure out what it is that you want to do and you need to do. So I don't know. I don't think I have any more to say on that. But if y'all do, definitely leave y'all comments, you know, down below, or, you know, when you watch the playback. Thank you for those of you who are tuning in and participating in the comments, you know, during the live show. But when y'all watch this back, I know it's longer than usual. But when you got something to talk about, you got to keep going. The answer is true. They're in their 20s. I was 34 when I got in, so I had a more mature head going in, so I waited better. Yeah, I think it also has to do with maturity. I just think that when you go into this industry young, your brain is not fully. Look, they always said a man's brain develops slower than a female's. Like, women are more established, I believe, by 21. I think by men it's 23 or 24. So if this is the industry you have to go in, you really have to have that level head, and you need to. This is what I always say. Like, I'm all for artists to get in this business when they're older, so that way they're more self-aware when these go on. I don't understand these. Oh, you got to be 18 to 24 or 14 to 24 to be considered a pop star, and by the time you're 28 to 30, you're washed up, and then you got to bring younger people in. Y'all do that shit because y'all want to keep these young people young and dumb, and y'all can rob them blind and do this, that, and the third. I remember back in the wasn't like back in the 70s or 80s when I would read back on artists. Debbie Harry and them, they broke out. David Bowie, all of them broke out in their 30s. I don't understand why it's an issue, or 30s and 40s. I don't understand why it's an issue to have people who are older be considered an artist or a pop star or this, that, and the third, because I tend to want to listen to them more than I would somebody who's 15 trying to tell me about love and sex when you ain't having none. So anyway, we're going to wrap the show because I got caught up in another tangent. So tune in next time for another episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm your host, Kris Avalon. And until next time, ciao, darling.
Unfiltered, filtered, filtered, filtered.